Simon heard that 𝗕𝗏 was assembling a very large army to invade Judea and destroy it. Seeing that the people were trembling with fear, Simon went up to Jerusalem and assembled the people. He encouraged them, saying, "You know what great things my brothers and my father's family and I have done for the laws and the temple. You know the wars we have waged and the hardships we have experienced. For this cause, for the sake of Israel, all my brothers have lost their lives, and I alone am left. Far be it from me to spare my own life in time of trouble, for I am no better than my brothers. Nevertheless, I will avenge my nation and the temple and your wives and children, for all the Gentiles have gathered together in hatred to destroy us." The people were inspired once again when they heard these words. They cried out to Simon, "You are our leader in place of your brothers Judas and Jonathan. Lead us in battle, and we will obey your every word." So Simon assembled the army and hurried to complete the walls of Jerusalem, fortifying it on all sides. He sent a large force to Joppa under the command of Jonathan, son of Absalom, and they drove out the residents and remained there. 𝗕𝗏 and his large army left Ptolemais to invade Judea, and they took Jonathan along under guard. Simon set up camp in Adida, facing the plain. When 𝗕𝗏 learned that Simon had taken the place of his brother Jonathan and was preparing to fight against him, he sent envoys to Simon with this message: "We have detained your brother Jonathan for the money that he owed the king's treasury when he was managing the king's affairs in Judea. Send 3,400 kilograms of silver and 2 of his sons as hostages, so that when he is set free, he will not revolt against us. Then we will release him." Although Simon did not believe that 𝗕𝗏 could be trusted, he ordered the money and the children to be sent. He did not want the people of Israel to hate him and say, "Jonathan died because Simon did not send the money and the children." So he sent the children and the 3,400 kilograms of silver. But 𝗕𝗏 broke his word and did not release Jonathan. After this, 𝗕𝗏 entered the country to destroy it. His troops took a detour along the road that leads to 𝗬𝗏, but Simon and his army counted them wherever they went. The soldiers in the citadel sent envoys to 𝗕𝗏, asking him to hurry to them through the wilderness to bring them food. So 𝗕𝗏 got all his horsemen ready to leave. But that night a very heavy snow fell, and he could not go. Instead, he went into Gilead. As he neared Basgamah, he killed Jonathan and buried him there. Then 𝗕𝗏 changed course and returned to his own country. Simon sent for the remains of his brother Jonathan and buried him in Modane, the town of his ancestors. All Israel wept loudly for him, and they mourned for him many days. Over the tomb of his father and his brothers, Simon built a tall monument with polished stone at the front and back. He also erected 7 pyramids facing each other for his father, his mother, and his 4 brothers. He surrounded these with an elaborate arrangement of large pillars, upon which he hung armor as an eternal memorial. Beside the armor, he carved ships large enough to be visible to those at sea. This tomb remains in Modane even to this day. 𝗕𝗏 conspired against young King Antiochus and killed him. He became king in his place, assuming the crown of Asia, and brought great evils upon the kingdom. But Simon strengthened the strongholds of Judea, fortifying them with high towers, massive walls, and gates locked with bars. He also stored food in the strongholds. Simon selected ambassadors and sent them to King Demetrius Nicator, hoping to gain relief from taxes for his nation, since Trypho had plundered the land. King Demetrius answered this request with the following letter. This letter is from King Demetrius to Simon, the high priest and favored leader of kings, and to the high council and the Jewish nation. Greetings. We have received the gold crown and the palm branch that you sent. We are ready to establish a lasting peace with you and to write to our officials, instructing them to release you from the tribute tax. All that was previously agreed upon remains in force, and the fortresses you have built are yours to keep. We forgive any oversights or faults you have committed to this day, and we cancel the crown tax that you owe. If there are any other taxes in Jerusalem, they are now cancelled. If any of you are qualified to join the royal guard, you will be allowed to enroll. Let there be peace between us. In the 170th year of Greek rule, the yoke of the Gentiles was removed from Israel. At that time, the people of Israel began to date their documents and public records in this way. In the first year of Simon the great high priest, the commander and leader of the Jews. In those days, Simon set up camp outside Gazara and surrounded it with troops. He constructed a siege machine and directed it against the town. He attacked one tower and captured it. The soldiers inside the siege machine entered the town, creating a great uproar. The men in the town, together with their wives and children, went up to the wall, tore their clothes, and cried out with a loud voice, asking Simon to grant them terms of peace. They said, "Do not treat us as our evil deeds deserve, but according to your mercy." So Simon reached an agreement with them. He did not destroy them, but he expelled them from the town and purified the houses where there had been idols. Then he entered the town, singing hymns of praise. Having cleansed the town of all impurity, Simon appointed people to live there who would observe the law of Moses. He also fortified the town and built a house for himself there. Then Simon prevented those who were in the citadel at Jerusalem from going in and out and from buying and selling in the countryside. So they became very hungry, and many of them died from famine. They begged Simon for terms of peace, which he granted. Then he expelled them from the citadel and cleansed it from impurity. On June 3 in the 171st year of Greek rule, the Jews entered the citadel with thanksgiving, waving palm branches and playing harps and cymbals and stringed instruments. They sang hymns and songs, because Israel's great enemy had finally been destroyed. Simon decreed that this occasion should be celebrated every year with gladness. He strengthened the fortifications of the Temple Hill near the citadel, and he and his men lived there. Since Simon's son John had now reached manhood, Simon made him commander of all the armies. John kept his residence in Gazara.